Hi, my name is Lorraine Rimmelin. I'm from Watercolorartisan.com. Welcome to my channel. I love painting in the negative with my watercolors, and this is another video that I'm going to share with you about negative painting and another approach I'll take to flowers. The first thing I always do prior to starting a painting is to work on my color choices. So the colors I chose today, I usually pick them up randomly and I do a little playful color wash on a scrap piece of paper so that I can get an understanding of how the colors are going to mix, how the colors are going to create some darks, how they're going to create grays. And today I chose a quinacridone magenta, ultramarine blue, and a rare earth green. The first two are Holbein colors, and the next one is a Daniel Smith color. And I find this I do prior to all of my paintings. It's just a way for me to warm up and for me to make a choice about colors. Sometimes I will do these little color swatches and not really feel the colors. And so I put it aside and I save it for another day. I always write the names of the paints down. And then this little swatch will stay with this piece of art until it's completed. So the first color I chose is a quinacridone magenta. A really pretty color. Next, I have this an ultramarine blue. And truthfully, the reason I chose these colors is because the reference I'm working off of today is a lot of beautiful light violets and lilacs. And I knew how beautifully these two colors would make some gorgeous purples for me, lavender colors. The green, one of the reasons I chose the green is it's very muted. It's not a bright green in any way. And for that reason, I said it'll really work nice with my other colors because it's not going to be pushing its way around like some greens do. Now that I have them down, let's look and see how do these colors mix together. So if I take a little bit of the magenta and I add a little bit of the green, you can already see I have beautiful grays happening. Take that green again, let's add a little more here. And let's see what my blue wants to do with that. And again, it's a very soft blue. And that's because of the choices I've made as far as that green. That green doesn't have a lot of yellows in it. It's kind of grayish. And of course, my pink with the blue is going to make me some absolutely beautiful purples. And that's exactly what this painting needs, some nice purples. So this just gives me an idea of what my colors want to do, how they want to mix. The other thing that I find most important when I'm doing this step is to also choose at this stage my darkest dark. So we'll just take a quick look at this green and let's see it, just see it without water as straight pigment. That's going to show up as nice and dark. And the same thing for my ultramarine blue. If I do not mix it with water, that's going to be a really, really nice dark. And I'm going to need those darks as I keep changing the value in my painting. Once this is done, I'm just going to set it aside. And it'll, like I said, it'll remain with the painting as a reminder so that I don't have to make any choices when I put this painting down and then I come back to it. There'll be no choices. I know exactly what colors I need to come back to. So I did pencil in, I did a wash, a very light value wash on my paper, and then I penciled in some of those shapes. Let me see if you could see some of them. Yes, you can. Might be a little bit hard to see, but the pencil shapes are there so that I have them ready, because I'm going to negative paint around those shapes. And the shapes that I'm going to leave, the flower shapes, are going to be really pretty because they're going to be the colors of the first wash. Okay, so now that I have this complete layer done, it must dry 100%, and then I can start the next layer with the next shape. So before I pencil anything in or do anything to show you where I'm going to go next, this must be dry. So again, I'm going to just go around all the shapes now. I'm going to go around the shapes I've previously left in a lighter value, and now I'm going to add to it by going around the next layer of shapes. Let's see if I can make this, let's see, you see a little better. Okay, I'm going to start in this corner and work my way across. The reason I do that is I'm right-handed. I don't want to lay my hand on wet paper. So it's easiest for me to start up in this far corner. So I'm painting around the new shapes that I've made. And I'm painting around the shapes that I have left or previously painted when I was doing the past layer. Might seem a little dark, but it will dry lighter. And I need to add a little blue to this, because remember, I'm really looking for those really pretty purple colors. Whenever I do this as a demo, or even sometimes doing it here on YouTube, people comment that they're like, I can't see the shapes. And I know that. You really need to train your brain. And that might sound a little funny, but you need to train your brain by doing this over and over in how to see what's not there. How I see this little shape, and this little shape, and this little shape. how I see those little shapes will make this painting come to life. Now the entire layer is done. Let's let you get a really close-up look. How pretty the shapes are. And you can actually see now how this flower here, you can see is definitely sitting on top of these flowers here. And that's the layering process that I'm trying to share with you. And it's done by value. This is a lighter value. This is a lighter value. And these shapes are a different value. So this appears to be on top of those. Same thing here. Appears to be behind this shape. Let me dry it. I'll pencil in more shapes and we'll put another layer in. My paper once again is dry. I've penciled in the shapes. Let's take a look at what I put in here. And I'm not worried about if these shapes connect and make a lot of sense. These are flowers that are further and further away and will have less detail. The value is going to be darker for them. You're not going to see them as clearly, but it is part of the composition of a bouquet of flowers or a garden of flowers. So you can see the shapes I put in back there. There's not going to be a lot of painting to be done because I'm not painting over these original lightest value shapes, and I'm not painting over the next layer of shapes that I put in. So I'm going to be painting around these pencil shapes that you see. So there's not a tremendous amount of painting that I'm going to need to do. There's going to be a lot of little spots in here that as I paint them, these new shapes will start to appear. So again, let's start at the top corner and let's start my painting right up here. One more time, my value is going darker, staying with the same three colors. I haven't changed my colors yet. Same three colors, just a darker value. Now I need to check to make sure I've filled in all the spots, but I like the way it goes from a much brighter top where you could see it's more atmospheric up here, this light up there, into a much darker bottom. This now has created our third layer of flowers. So let's take a closer look and see what we have going on here. So when I come into the bottom, I can see how this leaf is one of my surface leaves. It's nice and bright and light, and it's on top of basically everything else. These light flowers through here with a couple of leaves coming out are my surface, my lightest in value, and here's my lightest in value. From here, I have this second layer. I can already see two little spots I have to fill in. So let's do those right now while I see them. So there's a little spot right here, and see the difference it makes? And the other spot is just right above it, right here. So I have 1, 2, 3 layers. I will put a fourth layer in, and it's going to be very dark. So once again, this needs to dry, and then I can go in with a really nice dark layer. And that's going to just add a few little stems and a few little shapes. But let's let this dry, and I'll come back with one more last layer. I did not pencil anything in because I'm really not sure where I want to go. But what I'll be doing is I'll be pushing back a lot of these little spaces and creating a few extra stems and a few extra leaves. Not too much in the way of flowers. I don't think I need too much more back there. There really isn't much space. But I want you to sit back, enjoy, and just watch the process as I start to add my darkest darks to this painting. So all that's left for me to do is I think I'm going to bring in a little bit of a brighter green on some of these leaves and stems. And then these flowers up on top, the buds, they need to be defined and do some of those little shapes. They're mostly green. And in this last step, I need to go in and define some of these shapes. See the pretty shadows through here, the light on some of these. That's what I'm going to go in and start to do within these flowers. But I'm going to be very careful not to change the value of them so much that they just blend into the ones back here. I want those to remain in the background. And now I know that there's some petals here. So I want to be able to separate some of these petals with some shadows. I'm taking that same color I put in the center. Here's a great spot to show you. Just negative painting. A little shape in there. Clean water. And you could see where this petal sits on top of that petal. That's what negative painting does. Okay, I'm going to play around through and I'm just about done. I hope you have enjoyed watching me paint this video. I hope it's been really helpful to you. Please subscribe to my channel. So please go to my website and sign up for my newsletter and you will receive the information and stay informed. So if I'm doing a class or I'm doing a free demo, you can join me.